Hello everybody, my name is Petr Koutný and today I have for you another reason why to remember Bobby Fischer as one of the greatest chess players of all times. I hope that you are going to enjoy this game and this video. This game was played in Chess Olympic Games in 1966. Bobby Fischer is playing with white pieces and Portisch is playing with black pieces. It's good to tell you that this was an encounter on the first board in one of the key match between USA and Hungary. And on the board we have exchanged Ruy Lopez. At that time it was a really popular chess opening, and maybe right now it's a more popular move bishop g4. At that time black believed that it's absolutely okay after knight e4 and c5 again and again. Up-to-date theory will tell you that knight e2 is maybe stronger, but Bobby Fischer played move knight b3, what is absolutely fine. After exchange on d1, black played move bishop d6. I believe that this move is not the best move on the board right now, because Bobby Fischer found it novelty, knight a5. And why this move is super strong? At the first is attacking pawn on b7, and the second this knight is jumping to c4, challenging bishop on d6, and black's position is going to be under pressure. So what's happened? b5 and maybe c4. It's not the best way to attack black's queen side. I believe that maybe a4 is a stronger, is more annoying for black opening the a file. Say knight e7, and I'm going to show you some sidelines of or variations why a4 is stronger than c4. Say knight a3, knight b7, bishop e3, and knight c5. Looks like that's a good reason why to believe that white has edge. But okay, let's follow this game. And Bobby Fischer played move c4. b4 it's not a great, because knight d7, and it's a big question what great is doing for black this bad and passive bishop on d6. So knight e7 happened and bishop e3. Still, this pawn on c5 is the biggest black's weakness, and one day is going to be under attack. Maybe after knight b3 or knight b7, one day this pawn on c5 is under fire, is going to be under fire. So f5 happened, and now knight c3, f4 and e5. Maybe simply bishop d2 is strong, and it's another alternative how to attack black's position without big difficulties. I believe that Bobby Fischer even here has advantage, but f4 and e5. Now Bobby went for complications, and after e5 Portisch, I think, is in a difficult time. He decided to not take on e3. Say why? Take on d6, check, and after another check, I believe that maybe here white's got still advantage. And why I believe in white's advantage? Say white's pieces are more active, more danger, and black's queen side is under fire. At the end, slight edge for white. I hope that you agree with me. If not, I'm so sorry. So Bobby Fischer played, Portisch took on e5, and Bobby took a pawn on c5, bishop c3, and knight g6. What do you think about this position? I still believe in white's advantage, and still for the same reason. White's minor pieces are more danger than black's pieces. This position is going to be open, and doesn't matter that on the board we have opposite bishops. but still knight c6. Black's main problem is that the black's king is stuck in the center and therefore the rooks are disconnected. Yes, altogether, small problems, small difficulties, at the end, bad position for black. And again, white pieces are more aggressive, more dangerous. And what I am missing is where is black's counter attack. So bishop e6, finally, black is going to attack this pawn on c4, right? So no more attack, and here knight a7. Amazing move. You know, this knight on a7 is attacking pawn on b5 and still is a challenging black's position. It's difficult for black to go for short castle because of this bishop, and maybe how to play this position is go to king f7, but Lajos Portisch decided to play rook b8 and he's defending this pawn. You know, he's defending and he's passive and passive. So what next? Again, attack this pawn, and now black decided to play this more natural move, king f7, knight b5, rook d8 and rook b4. So how to evaluate this position? For a while Bobby Fischer is playing with pawn up, and still he's more active. I believe that Lajos Portisch playing with black pieces is fighting for draw, but it's difficult to fight for draw against Bobby Fischer. Just imagine that this game was the most important game of the chess Olympic Games in 1966. This is the first board. So everybody is watching this board, everybody is watching this game, and everybody is asking, how great is Bobby Fischer? So bishop a2 happened and knight c7. Another exchange and another move is gone. So now Portisch decided to keep all the rooks on the board. He believed that this is the best way how to make a draw, because say rook b4 and rook d7, there is a difference that there is only one pair of rooks on the board. If you're defending position, it's good to have two rooks than one rook. And if you're attacking, of course, makes sense to have one rook against one rook. Not two rooks against two rooks, because two rooks sometimes are too dangerous and should attack, for example, white's king. So now rook c8 happened. Let's go there and h4, rook d2 and bishop b6. f3 happened and bishop e3, rook e2 and knight b5. That's a beautiful knight on b5, and we have time to have a look on the board. What's going on? So if nothing changed, if nothing happened, white is playing with simple extra pawn, and if there is no danger, black's attack, counter attack, or say big compensation, black position is hopeless because of this one single pawn. So what's going on? White has to be careful not to be checkmated, not to lose material, and not to went in a deep defense. So white is looking for some exchange or simplification, and he still has to be careful because, of course, Lajos Portisch is a great player. He's a fighter and he is legend. So now rook e8, h5 tempo, and rook f4 check. Unfortunately for black's king is going under fire in the center, but everywhere in the right technique, in the hand of Bobby Fischer. In case that white is Bobby Fischer, I believe that black is lost. You know, Bobby Fischer is chess hero, chess legend, and Doesn't matter that this position still looks unclear. White is winning because of extra pawn. Of course, white has to be careful, but Bobby Fischer is legend. So now rook d1 and rook e4, pin. Rook d6, check. Rook f4, check. And rook f3, check. And Lajos Portisch resigned. Amazing game, amazing story. And now let's see the final variation why Lajos Portisch resigned. So just imagine he is going to h4, check, 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 and rook d4, and black's king is going to be checkmated. So finally, I told you that the black's king is going to be under fire in the center, and doesn't matter that we are nearly at the endgame or we are in the endgame. You never know when Bobby Fischer is going to checkmate black's king. Okay, now we know. So black's king has to be checkmated, and we saw another beautiful chess game of great Bobby Fischer. I hope that you enjoyed this game. I hope that you saw something interesting, nice, exciting, and if yes, feel free and press like or press follow and make my day. I hope you enjoyed. And it was nice time to remember Bobby Fischer and Lajos Portisch as chess legends of the last century. That's all for now. So, see you tomorrow. Have a nice day. Bye bye.